Hi, everybody. It's Jen Henriksen from Jen's Travel Journeys and Cruise Planners. So I haven't done an update in a long time. We used to call these backyard banters, but I wanted to give you some trips for traveling this summer. And we're seeing a lot of patterns happening in the travel trade industry right now. And I think it's really important that we update you on the best ways, basically to prepare yourself to get through some of the challenges that we're facing. So the first thing I wanted to mention to you is about flights. Everything I'm going to give you in this travel update doesn't have anything to do with how you booked your travel. Okay. You can be that Expedia person that never uses a travel company and you just book online direct yourself. You could be one of our clients or another agency's clients that you are using the agencies in your local area or people that you know to book your travel just to make sure that everything's covered for you. It doesn't matter if you're even booking directly with a supplier and you're not using any third-party resources at all. No matter how you booked it, we're all traveling the same way, right? We booked it differently, but we're all traveling the same way. So a lot of times, remember that your level of service is going to be affected on how you booked your travel, but delays, cancellations, all that sort of thing are going to be the same. So the first thing I want to bring to your attention is flights. Flights are the number one issue right now in the travel industry. Everything to do with travel and tourism is being affected by the flight cancellations and the flight delays. And we get a lot of phone calls on this, a lot of people just finding us online saying, what the heck is going on with this? What's going on with it is post-COVID. We're having an unprecedented number of travelers right now. Everybody has officially gotten over their I'm not going to travel because of COVID. Even if you're holding back just a little bit longer, all of your friends and neighbors aren't. So we have just enormous numbers of people returning to traveling right now, which is causing another whole set of issues, primarily with the airlines. So remember that when we say the word return to service, you'll see it like on a commercial for a cruise line or on the radio. You may even see us on some of our documents say that as well, returning to service. That does not mean returning to pre-COVID full service. That means returning to travel. And I think it's so important that we talk about that distinction because what I'm seeing is a lot of people think the more money that they're paying, the more of a luxury operator they're going with, that sort of thing, the less headaches they're going to have. And right now, that's not necessarily the case. Because if you're flying, no matter which tour operator, we call them by different names, vendor, tour operator, supplier, any of those terms qualify for the people that are in charge of that specific component of your travel on your trip. What we're seeing is that all the way from budget to luxury, they're understaffed. They're trying to get back on their feet after COVID, no different than our agency is. And they're understaffed and getting this, large volume of business coming in the door, which all of us are so grateful for. But there are limitations on what it is that we can do with limited staff. So if I'm a hotel, I'm probably not going to offer daily housekeeping service as a standard practice as I'm reopening right now because I don't have the staff. If I'm a flight operator, it might be that I'm having a lot more cancellations or interruptions to our service than normal because I'm either not getting enough people on that flight, so I have to cancel it and rearrange things, or I don't control the weather, or another city is having some issues and it affects ours. Lots of different things. Remember, picture the airline industry like a huge web over the entire world. They're all interconnected flights, even if they're not like a connecting flight. You know what I'm saying? A flight that leaves tomorrow morning that doesn't have anything to do with the flights that are leaving today is affected because if that plane doesn't arrive at that airport and have the chance to be serviced overnight, it's not flying out the next day. And we think a lot of times this is the trip I'm going on, so it shouldn't affect me. And that's not the way it works. Everything is connected. So the first thing I would say to you is no matter where you're going, we're seeing it international as well as domestic, be prepared for flight cancellations and delays. I'm recommending to all of my clients that no matter where you're flying, throw a change of overnight clothes and a toothbrush and toothpaste in your bag and be prepared for a delay or an extended, like extended delay, cancellation. If you don't have one, throw a party, but go prepared for a delay or a cancellation, because again, we're seeing them across the board. No matter where it is that you're going, the airlines are just not in a stable place at the moment, and they're carrying a large volume of people. So if you prepare for that, I think bring your patience with the people that are really overworking at the moment, because they're understaffed with a large number of people, angry people in a lot of cases, because their flight's been canceled and now they're going to miss the beginning of their cruise or whatever they're going for. Bring your patience and bring your grace, because they need it right now. The mental health that's going along with the travel trade right now is kind of scary, because everybody's overworking and underappreciated because everybody wants to get to where they're going. So if we cannot be a part of that break in the chain, and we can just be patient and anticipate possibly those changes, you're not going to see a full return to service until probably, my estimate is next summer or next fall. We've really got to give these guys time to get through all of the changing every 5 minutes COVID restrictions, and just the pauses in service that are going on, as far as a lot of these suppliers just hitting their max numbers they can handle. So flights, number one; patience, number two; understaffing. Remember that it's not just the airlines, it's the hotel that you're getting to, it's the tour company that's providing your tour, it's the cruise line that's providing everything for you when you get there. Everybody is so glad to have you back traveling again. They've all been waiting and waiting for you to come. But we're in that stretch now, as we get back on our feet, that so many people are coming that a lot of those suppliers are just not up to par yet. So even if you're staying at a sandals resort, a more luxury, high-end place, sometimes you're going to see some things there that you would not normally see, because they just don't have the staff to be able to get to it as quickly as they normally would. So again, bring your patience and a lot of grace, because they are glad you're there, but there's only so much they can do. Let's see what else. The final tip for you today, and one I always preach this, is travel insurance. Make absolutely sure you are getting full comprehensive travel insurance. I'll do a separate video on travel insurance just to fill you in on it. The basics about it. But here's a little tip for you. If you're checking a radio box when you buy a flight that says, add travel insurance for $14.95, that is not full comprehensive travel insurance. If you are purchasing it through a supplier like a cruise line, that is not full comprehensive travel insurance. Full comprehensive travel insurance, or travel protection, is a third-party insurance company. That's all they do. They're not selling you a cruise. They're not selling you a tour. All they do is sell insurance for travel. Okay, that's comprehensive. Comprehensive means it's going to cover you for delays and cancellations that are covered in their policy. They tell you what's covered in their policy. They cover you for medical. That's the evacuation. That's the I got sick on my trip. In many cases, it's COVID coverage if you're testing positive trying to come back into the US or that sort of thing. There's several big name travel insurance companies out there. We only deal primarily with two of them, and we choose our two because we deal a lot with them, and we know they take good care of our people that when you have to file a claim, which hopefully you don't, but that's what the travel insurance is for. If you're booking a trip, whether it's on Expedia, on your own online, or if it's on booking through us or booking through the supplier directly, we always encourage you to get full comprehensive travel insurance. And when we say full, that means it's not just covering your cruise, like the cruise lines travel protection. It's not just covering your flight, like the flight radio box that you fill in. Your credit card is not full comprehensive coverage. It's covering you for the things you purchase on that card, and it's not covering you comprehensively. It's covering you for baggage delays and those kinds of things. Read the card, you'll see what they cover. Okay, but a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't need it. I've got coverage through my credit card." You don't. You have very limited protection with your credit card. And right now, a lot of you are calling in because you're most worried about what happens if I test positive for COVID and I'm on a 10-day quarantine, which we see every month, you guys. Every month, as people are trying to get back to the United States, they're testing positive for COVID. Not a big deal. We have people in our own neighborhoods testing positive for COVID, right? That's not an unusual thing. But when you're on a trip and you can't get back into the United States, that's going to affect you, usually in your pocketbook, because you're having to stay more days in a foreign country. You're having to get your air all changed and transferred around. And if you don't have comprehensive coverage, usually that's going to be on your dime. So again, I cannot encourage you enough. Travel insurance is probably the number one thing you should have right now if you are traveling this summer. And if you're still of working age and you have a job involved that you might lose that opportunity to go on that trip, you should be getting a full comprehensive travel insurance that has a cancel anytime or cancel for any reason benefit to it. It costs more money, but it has more reasons that are included in that policy that you can cancel. And usually it's not exclusively for working age, but usually it has a lot to do with those people that are still working and would have to cancel because of work. Okay. So that's just the short end version about that. I am not a licensed travel insurance professional, but I work with it every single day. And I see what the issue is when people don't purchase travel insurance and some of the confusion offered by different suppliers saying, hey, check here and for 20 bucks, we'll cover you. No, they don't cover you, not for the things that you need them for. So again, I'll do another video on travel insurance, but especially if you're booking your flights independently from your cruise, make sure you're getting that comprehensive travel insurance that will cover you if you don't make it on time. And you need to read through the policy, go to an agency like ours that specializes really in only one or two different suppliers that we know are comprehensive coverage, because a lot of times we can give you a lot clearer outline of what it will and will not cover. Okay. Again, we still have to refer you to the specialist, but we specialize in knowing who to get you to, for the type of coverage that you need. So anyway, just tips for traveling this summer. Thank you for traveling this summer. We can't believe the number of phone calls just from internet searches that we're getting right now from people. But if you contact agencies like ours and you're not able to get assistance, it's probably because you're traveling within 2 weeks or so. We're just at a peak capacity and we're not able to take on non-clients, people that aren't actively in our database, to assist them with short notice trips right now because so many people are traveling. So try to plan ahead, try to plan out. Remember, the sweet spot for the biggest discounts on travel and the most opportunities to be able to do it with the most perks will be, that sweet spot is a year to a year and a half out. When that trip first opens is when you want to be booking it. But for my last minute people, which I always have last minute people, while you won't be getting a price break, most likely, you just remember that you will have added headaches this summer, just because that return to service isn't fully up and running yet, but it will be. Give it some time. And thanks for traveling and thanks for watching. Talk to you soon, guys.